So welcome everyone. My name is Michael Wilson, Fire Solution Architect at CSRO on Spark. So I'll just be sort of facilitating today. Today is really a follow-up from our kickoff call that we had a week ago. So for anyone who wasn't at that, there is, I'll jump to the page that we've got. We have a Spark testing event page, which is not, this is the parent page, not the information page. I'm going to put that in the chat. I got it. Chat. So on here, we've got the slides, which I've got today as well if we need them, but we've also got the recording. So if you missed the one last week, that's our general kickoff call where I kind of spoke to everyone about what to expect on the day, the agenda, all the details about the event in general. But at the end of that meeting, we decided the question was posed whether people would like another session to have for sort of helping people sort of connect their systems or prepare for the event themselves. So that's what this one is about today. So this one is not me sort of here talking to you about the event. It's more you bring to the table what you want, what you would like help with, how you'd like to connect, how you'd like to help set up your system, any information you need further about what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the like. So it's very much an open Q&A style session here. I will just go through briefly, just a bit of a refresher about the sort of the structure of the event, and maybe what we can do is talk about the scenarios and do it in context of that, because I know we have different leads for different scenarios, but happy to take questions on anything, anywhere. We've got the Spark team here who can answer your questions. And this is all about just getting you as prepped as possible for the event. So whatever you need, let us know and we'll do our best to help you through this session. So these are the links to the info page. I put the one in the chat to the one that has the recording and the agenda and the like. Not going to go through any of this in any detail. This is all out of the last event. But the main focus of this event, like we went through last week, is talking about having connected test scenarios. And for this, we've created a number of test scenarios to sort of provide opportunities for testing across multiple IGs and multiple systems. So we've got these 5 scenarios here: the e-request, e-referral, provider lookup, smart app launch, patient summary exchange, medication dispense, and appointment lifecycle. So those are, we're looking for everyone to sign up to those events, to those scenarios where they're interested. So there is on the event page, we have participant system details, which is where you will enter your system details, the system that you are bringing, as well as who's looking after it, what IGs it's relevant to, what the system type is, and any authorization details that people might need in order to connect, and the connection details so they can connect to your systems. So I'd like everyone to populate. Quite a few people have, which is really good. And the other part of this is actually then signing up to these connected test scenarios. So that's on this page here. This one in the chat as well. This is where we're looking for systems to sign up to steps in these scenarios. We're not expecting everyone to necessarily be able to do this end to end. They're really just providing some scenarios, and maybe you can only do step 1 and that's all you're interested in participating in. So if that's all you want to sign up to, you can just sign up to that. If you want to do a number of them, you can. So it's really about saying what type of system you have, what steps you might be able to do, and we can then exercise those steps on the day. So, you know what, we don't have to do them in sequence. If we're just testing 4 and 5, for example, well, 2 partners can get together and say, let's test 4 and 5. We don't have to worry about steps 1 to 3 or step 6 or the like. So it's really just about providing opportunities for things that you might like to test with your systems that you are bringing. So maybe just before we jump into any of these scenarios, I'd like to open the floor to any questions of any general nature that we'd like to start before we go into maybe having questions around scenarios. But I'm open to anything now at this point. If anyone would like any guidance or any particular things you'd like to bring up.
Yeah, I have a quick question, and most likely it was answered on the previous call that I unfortunately didn't have a chance to visit. So what is the main difference between testing event and connectathon?
Well, it's supplementary to a connectathon. So I'll just find the right page here. So we're doing the same sorts of things. So Spark is hosting this versus HL7 Australia. That's the main difference. So it's an additional event to connectathons, but it's the same sort of style. And the key thing that we're looking at for this one is those connected test scenarios. Now, I know Heath is looking to bring through a connected test scenario track in the next connectathon as well. So this is kind of like a trial run for something along those lines as well. And really, it's just giving us the opportunity. We've got a number of IGs. We're not here looking at having separate streams, like we're not just doing AU core, or we're not just doing e-requesting. And that's where we're trying to have these connected test scenarios as that, I'm trying to sort of integrate between a number of IGs. So I suppose that's the key difference to this one, to if you've been to one of these before, about what we're trying to do. And that's kind of those working through those connected test scenarios that exercise the interactions across multiple IGs, and also pushing the boundaries. I think in a number of Spark testing events that we've run in the past, that had been very much focused on testing the IGs and getting test coverage evidence and these type of things for that. Our IGs now are more on the mature end. And so this is now more about, pushing the boundaries, like what extra things do we want in these? How can we test this interconnectivity between them, while still doing some of that test coverage as well. Like I know in AE Core, we've got a couple of new profiles coming in. So if we're going to be testing those, we'll try and capture some test evidence on that. I know Liam with the smart tracks, his IGs are relatively new, so he's going to try and collect some test evidence there as well. But yeah, so it's really just to provide those opportunities, another testing event, and to let's push the boundaries a little bit on this one if we can.
Thank you.
No worries. Any others? All right, let's just talk about the test scenarios. So we have the first scenario, which is the e-requesting, e-referral with provider lookup. Michael Osborne's going to be the scenario lead on this. So he's the face to go to, the person to go to if you sort of want to help coordinate on the day and the like. So we've just got sort of leads for each of the scenarios. And you'll notice, again, if you hadn't been to the kickoff meeting before, these are reasonably generic scenarios. There's a fair bit of room to move in these. It's really just providing some guidance on sort of scenarios you might want to look here. And that's why this one is an e-request, e-referral. If you're doing e-requesting with the AU e-requesting FireEye, great. If you've got an e-referral use case, you might be able to adapt to what they're doing in e-requesting. You might have your own e-referral IG or resources that you want to test with. So there's similar sorts of scenarios. So we thought we'd combine that into one. And we're also putting in things like provider directory, which is now new. So like step one there is the requesting system searches and provider directory and find a service provider. So, and then the second one is the requesting system creates an e-request and submits it to that provider. So again, here, if you're only focused on testing the provider directory, you might only do step one here. If you're doing e-requesting or e-referral, you might do step one and step two. And then we might have fulfilling systems that are actually going to display that information. Down on 6 as well, we may have a patient app that's going to display the request or the referral and the fulfillment status. And we may have a fulfillment system that's going to update and move it through the workflow, and the requesting system monitoring that as well as potentially the patient app as well. I might just jump over to track page. This one, actually, maybe we'll stay on this page for now, if you can see that. What has been reloaded. Someone's updating it while we're in the meeting, which is good. Happy for that. So looking at this scenario so far, we've got the agency who's obviously going to bring their provider directory. We've got ConsultMed, which has a client and e-requested placer. And then we have a couple of CSIRO. We have the e-requesting server. That's our former Spark e-requesting server. And we have a patient referrals app, which I think is Michael Osborne's sort of test app there as well. So anyone? Yeah, Heath.
I was just going to suggest that maybe if anyone wants to put their hand up to say that they're interested in this and haven't yet signed up, is there any, just to get a gauge for who else might be interested?
I see one hand.
One hand. I saw a thumbs up. I don't know if that was.
Where's your hand, Ilya?
Can we convert the thumb into a hand and see? Oh, it's Brian.
Brian.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I think obviously anything that you can do before that, we've only got a short day really. By the time we get started, we do a kickoff, and then we normally get fed pretty well. So when you have a morning tea, lunch, and afternoon tea, and that as well, we're going to do a bit of a report back in the afternoon, so to showcase anything that was interesting or exciting that might have been done during the day. There's not a lot of time for actually connecting and building. So I think that's one of the things, looking to provide that support and looking to do it beforehand. If you can set things up, be ready to come, you've got something you want to bring, you want others to use, here's a good opportunity to sort of say that, hey, I've got this, I want you to use it, I want to exercise it, I'd love someone could connect to me and do this. This is a good opportunity to talk about that here, so that you can try and get those connections and ready to run on the day. I don't know, does anyone from the agency want to talk about the provider directory and what it'll be set up and ready to do on the day?
Is there anyone else from the agency here apart from
No,
me?
I was looking at you, Steve.
Okay. Yeah, we're hoping to have the provider directory up. We're having some server issues at the moment, but that will allow you to do searches by for healthcare services or organizations or providers. I'll have some sample data set up on the server for people to query. So when you want to send a referral or whatever it might be, you'll be able to find a specific provider. And we're also got the export, the bulk export functionality should be ready to go as well. So we'll be keen to have that if people are looking to integrate that way. Keen to have people run that and see how it goes. It is all conformant with the bulk data access via IG, but we do have a few little nuances around some of the ways that request is made and things like that. Yeah.
Yep. Steve, it might be worth mentioning in your notes over here that you're looking for people to try the bulk export as part of that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an extension to that first step, whether they're getting it directly or going to do a bulk export and then use it locally.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I'll update that. Thanks.
Okay. The e-requesting server, like I said, will be there. That's the normal one that had been brought to connectathons and the like in the past, to be loaded with test data and the like. So it's a good resource if we don't have any other servers around to do e-requesting and the like with it.
Yeah, so you can add Aidbox as another e-requesting server. So I don't think that I will have a lot of time to participate in this testing scenario, but yeah, it's deployed. It was used in the previous connector tone. So if for some scenario you would like to simulate like multiple e-requesting servers, you can use my Aidbox. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Leo. All right, I might move on to the next one then. So the next one is the Smart App launch. Maybe I will jump to this because it's got Liam's picture on it. So this is the Smart App launch and resource write back. So this is being facilitated by Liam. Liam's actually on leave at the moment, but I think hopefully some of his team's here. But if not, he will be back for the event. So this one's like testing Smart App launch, pre-population of fire data and write back of captured forms. So again, Liam's got some particular things that he's interested in testing, which is the smart health checks, IGs, the GP CCMP, and then we've also got AU patient summary and AU core. But again, these steps in this scenario have been written quite generically. So if you're bringing along a smart app of any type, you could participate in this scenario. And this is around clinical system launching a smart app. And then we go, that may be a smart health check or GP CCMP, CVD risk calculator, telehealth app, something. It can be anything. And then optionally launching with the additional context, like into the specific questionnaire using our fire context. So that's some of the stuff that we've got out of those IGs. Looking at that app to retrieve fire resources from the clinical system, which would be AU core resources. And maybe that might be pre-populating a form or questionnaire. So yeah, quite generic. Some sort of user interaction with that smart app. So like completing the form. And then again, optionally, a write back. So on the completion, so maybe that's writing back just the questionnaire response. Maybe it's extracted resources. Again, depending on what your system's trying to do. And then the clinical system reflecting that change in some way. So this is an opportunity to test patient summary. Maybe generate patient summary after if it's had resources written back and the like. So jumping to, oh, wrong page. So we've had a bit of, so what we've got here, we've got the Smart Forms client app and server. So Liam will be bringing along those, which can participate in steps 1 to 5. So we've got HealthLink, Best Practice, and Health Direct looking to participate in this as well. Anyone else that might be interested in participating in this track? Ilya, that's a yes for you.
Yeah, I will be participating in this track most of the time, trying to build connection with multiple systems, mostly working with guys from Health Direct. But yeah, you can add Beda EMR as a smart on fire server here.
Yep. Okay. No, that would be good. So these pages are for you to update. So you can just go straight to these pages and put your details in. So
I will update it after this call. No worries.
Yeah. So yeah, just go put in. I think too, if you're able to put notes in here too, like about what particularly you want to test or where your interest is, or what you want other people to connect to you and do, that's useful as well. So that we can kind of call out the things that are important to you and testing your system or things you want to explore and the like.
And I think for you, Ilya, if you can just indicate what your main interest is. I mean, having your servers and stuff available is awesome. So please add them. But I think from your app perspective, you know, what special bits that you want to test would be really useful, I think.
And especially too, we're looking like these scenarios deliberately are quite generic. Right, so just trying to line people up with similar sort of mindsets and things they're interested in. But yeah, I think it's up to you to put the specifics in there of where you want to be, what you want to be doing. Like,
and if it's things like write back and stuff like that, I think, you know, what kind of resource you want to write back, what kind of pre-population queries you want to execute. You know, those sorts of details might be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Might move on to the next one. Next one is Danielle's going to be the point of contact for this one. So this is patient summary exchange and reconciliation. So this is really the one for anyone. I mean, we've got patient summary sort of weaved into a number of scenarios, but this is the primary patient summary scenario. And looking here, really that first step is the sorts of things that we have been testing with patient summary before, but that's where a consuming system obtains a patient summary from a producing system. And this may be by any mechanism that you want. Is that by a request, or is it directed exchange? Is it patient mediated, smart health links, or some other method? So this is your opportunity to sort of test getting a patient summary from another system, validating it, seeing if it's compatible with your system and the like. So that's the sort of generic first step there for basically about getting a patient summary. And then the second part of that is consuming it and displaying it. So how are you going to represent it when you've got it? Does it display correctly? Is it what you thought? Then the next steps are about, it's kind of crosses over similar sorts of things to where we talked about right back before. And we've talked about this in a number of sort of sparked events and the like as well. I've got something from patient summary. I want to get it into my system. How might I do that? Now, we don't have any IGs. We don't have anything around this, but if systems are looking about, well, how might we do this? How could we do this? So this is talking about a consuming system to identify items for import into the patient record. So you might want to bring in some medications, allergies, conditions, any of those sorts of things. So identifying those to bring in, and then providing a mechanism for importing those into the patient record. So looking to push the boundaries there and work out how we might do that, how your system could do it, how you can show others to do it as well. And then the last one is that, well, if I've been able to import it, do I have a way to be able to show that back out? Maybe I could generate another patient summary out of my system now that's got that imported data put into it as well. So let's have a look at who we've got on this one. So this is the patient summary. Okay, we've got a CSRO sort of demonstration app there, Platypus from Kyle. Kyle's going to bring that one. We've got Halo Connect with a server for BP Premier. We've got the Spark AE Core file server for that, which will be able to produce patient summaries with test data. And then we have Orion Health, which are going to be remote, but they'll have their server available, which supports $summary, $docref, and smart health link generation of this. We've got a number of servers. We've only got one client. So I'd be interested if we've got any other clients out there that might be interested in participating in this server, or anyone who might be looking at doing the more advanced steps in this scenario. I think Heath throwing Brian under the bus.
No, that was more about smart apps. But
Oh, was it smart apps? Was it? The timing's out. Oh yeah, Shane, you're looking at doing this as well?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I was on leave, so I didn't have time to basically fill all the form. Yes, I will represent Oracle. So yes, I'm going to participate to the scenario 3, and I'm going to be consumer and producer as well. Okay. And I'm going to do step 1 and step 2.
Oh, excellent. Okay, no, that's good. You can enter any details in there. And I think with all of this, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Just to enter the details, do I need to register, create an account to edit the conference page?
Yeah, you do. It's just a HL7 account. They're free to create. Anyone can create one. You just have to, like, up the top here, there'll be a login or register. Just do that. Once you've created it, then you can edit the page. So
perfect.
It's not a major issue to do that. And we expect people to edit the page. So that's what we want. These are open community pages. So you're free to go in there and edit them. You just do have to create that HL7 account, but that's pretty straightforward.
Perfect.
Yeah. Next one is the medication dispense reconciliation. So Steph is going to look after this one for us. And this one's looking at, we've got a new medication dispense profile in AU Core. So this is looking to test that out. And so we're looking at a system being able to essentially provide a medication dispense record through that medication dispense profile. So a consumer system be able to retrieve, potentially display it. And then it's similar to the patient summary one. There's some opportunities here to do some reconciliation if you want to try and do it. So might be the consuming system reconciles dispense data against the patient's medication list. So you might try and update your system to say the number of times it's been dispensed, or any other sort of update you might want to do from having seen a dispense record. And then sort of reflecting that change in your system and displaying it. And maybe that's through a patient summary. You could do that as well. And then there's an opportunity here for a patient focused system as well to be able to display the dispense information. So provide that information to a patient as well as just a consuming system. I don't think we had a lot of sign up for this. So this one, just make sure I'm on the right one, medication dispense. Yeah, at the moment, we've just got the Spark AU Core server, which will have medication dispense, some example data in it. So it'll be available there to query, and we've got Cyro, one of the demo apps we've got, be able to consume that as well. Grant, was that comment on this one for this scenario, or was it the previous one?
Yeah. So we're just doing some test data prep for MOF. So we've done conversions to the resources, so we might as well try them out with the profile.
Yep. Okay. Well,
sounds like fun.
Yes. Yeah. So this one will be brand new. Literally, it's going in AU Core now. We'll be doing the snapshot at the end of the week. So it'll be a brand new one to test in AU Core. So that's certainly good for
very timely.
Looking at. Yep. But yeah, anyone else interested in that would certainly appreciate anyone who's willing to have a go at that as well, which would be good to pad that one out.
I may prepare some like questionnaires to like fill with the EMR with some medication dispense data, and then I can test with Kyle how it will be displayed.
Yeah.
It's something that I can achieve in 8 days before the event.
Yeah.
We can do this kind of demo.
Okay. The last one is appointment life cycle. So Landon is going to look after this one. So this one is, again, something that's not really covered by IGs at all, but I know there's a little bit of interest out there in it. So we kind of this one in as well. So this one has some potential integration with the provider directory as well. So we've got booking system searching a provider directory to find a provider or service. The booking system finds an available slot and creates an appointment for a provider in the system. Provider links the appointment to an encounter and records encounter information during the visit. And the patient system retrieves and displays encounter information to the patient after the visit. So a few opportunities there to look at bookings and incorporating the provider directory, and as well as potentially providing that information to a patient as well. I know this one's your baby, Landon. Did you have any? Is he actually email on the call?
He is.
Yeah, no, that covers it pretty well. Ultimately, I just want to see what the gaps are in our system, for example, in attempting to do this. And can we do it? And can we get back something equivalent to an encounter record, I guess, where we can pull in all of the different items that were added during the encounter to display back to the patient. So it's a bit of a challenge. So I'll do a bit of prep work before next week.
Yep. And we've got here, I think we've got a bit of interest in this. So, we've got I know we've got the provider directory and we've got, Halo Connect and best practice. But again, anyone interested in looking at bookings, this would be a good one to have a play with. Again, we don't have an IG for this, but this is the advantage of this event where we're trying to push the boundaries and some of the things that people have interested in testing and expanding our knowledge on. Anyone else interested in that one? Anyone on the call that thought that sounded interesting?
I just wonder if it might be helpful, Landon, if you can perhaps spell out in particular what you have actually. So find slot, create appointment. So the slot and endpoint endpoints are, slot and appointment endpoints are the ones you're going to be looking at.
Yes, primarily.
And that's as a server. So we don't have any clients.
No, but I may end up trying to build a client to try to orchestrate that.
Okay. Cool.
Schedule as well, schedule and slot.
I beg your pardon, I missed that, sorry.
Oh, sorry, you're doing the schedule resource as well as slot?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, cool.
See if it fits into the workflow. But that was sort of roughly the plan too, correct?
Yeah, cool.
There any other did anyone want to talk about what they were bringing, or they wanted to sort of look for people to test particular things, whether they're in these scenarios or not? I think here's a good opportunity now to sort of talk about, well, on the day I'd like someone to connect to my system and do something, or I'd like to try and connect to someone and do something else. Because these are just some guidance scenarios, but we are certainly open to other things. Example.
Hi, Ali from the Australian CDC. I know we've discussed this as well, but just thought I'd speak up about it, that we're bringing some bundle fire resources. So I guess we're fire development babies. We're bringing some resources that we'd like to sort of talk about and test with the group wherever we can. Conscious we don't quite fit neatly in any of the scenarios, and it's very early days for us, but I can see that a lot of the scenarios are quite relevant to future CDC data flow needs, and it'll be great to see how they're being developed and talked about and what thought is going into them. So I think we'll get a lot out of the day, but just flagging what we're bringing so we can make sure that we're getting the most out of testing those and helping the event as much as we can too.
Yeah, definitely. I had a chat to Shelley from Sparked as well. She's going to spend a bit of time with you, and we thought the opportunities for you to do some resource validation, which I'll put in the chat here, which is what we've done at earlier Spark testing events and that too, where you can say you're bringing something, you want to see whether it's conformant, whether it conforms to AU core or not. So there's a number of tools here that we can use for doing some resource validation. I think there might be opportunities too for others that are at the event here. If you have a server that they might be able to send some resources to, and then you can see whether your server is going to accept them, whether there's any major issues with them, if you notice any things that don't quite look what you expected, and that would potentially give you the opportunity to send these things to some different systems just to see what they think of them, whether they can handle
sounds
them.
Great. Yeah, I guess it's a combination of making sure we're coming at it the right way, but also where we need to think about things a bit differently for our users.
Yeah. So I think, while you don't necessarily fit within a scenario, I think so it's still essentially what you're doing here is some profile only testing. You're bringing some resources that are just the profiles. You've created some, you don't have a server, but you've got them. You'd like to do some testing with those, and that might be some validation testing. It might be sending them to some servers to test them and see what they look like.
Yeah,
Thank
just wanted to add that we have Inferno test suite that we usually use on the HL7 Uconnectathon, but I think for your use case, it is something that you can use to validate all the profiles and so on. So yeah, I can help you with setup and so on the event.
Sounds amazing. Thank you.
Just out of interest, when you say a bundle, is it a document type bundle?
a message.
Okay, thank you.
That makes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess testing that transfer of a notification and also GP Sentinel surveillance, and that's we're looking at aggregate and episode level for that. Episode is kind of an imaginary scenario, so just working through how we structure those and what they look like in this context.
I think there too, what Ilya just mentioned about Inferno. So Inferno is going to be there and is available. We've got test kits for AU Core and Patient Summary. So if you have a server that implements AU Core or Patient Summary, Inferno will be there, updated for the latest builds of those IGs. So, yep, they're there. So yeah, anyone who wants to test their server against this, definitely we can do that as well.
And in particular, I would say that we want to be looking at the AU patient summary one closely as part of the scenario, because we are still testing the Inferno test kit. So we want people's feedback on how useful it is, and if there's anything that we want to do to improve it, etc. So yeah, that probably will be a little bit of a focus within that scenario too.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Like here, we're not only testing your systems and connectivity, and we're also testing the IGs, and we're also testing our tools, things like Inferno, right? So feedback is welcome on all of these things. So if you are using Inferno and you think it can be, we can add new features, we can add things to be more useful, you have any feedback at all on that, we absolutely welcome it, as well as the point here is we are testing the implementation guides. So if you find things that don't look right, that we sort of raise them, and then we can look to take them through the processes to get them resolved. So feedback sort of comes from all sides, and it's about you getting valuable testing of your systems, but also us and the community getting valuable testing of the tools and the implementation guides that we're developing.
And that goes for the AU Core one as well, because the R3 will be basically getting generated as soon as it's published, and probably like Tuesday night. So it'll be hot off the press with new resources or profiles that it will be able to test, including the medication dispense and the like. So yeah, it will be hot off the press. So we'll be looking for bugs and feedback on that too.
Also, don't forget that we have the GitHub test data repository. So again, if you're looking for test data to use with your systems, this is a great resource to start if you don't have your own. So this includes all the things like patients, practitioners, practitioner roles, organizations, a whole lot of stuff. And it's also loaded on our AU Core via reference server. So the test data is on the server, but it's also, if you just want the raw files, the JSON files, and you want to use those in your own system, definitely use this repo. I will put the link in the chat. You won't be able to get to that otherwise. And you'll see here under the test data sets, we've got AU base, AU Core, AU requesting, patient summary, data sets in here. If you look at AU Core, hangs, we've got everything, allergen tolerances, conditions, encounters, healthcare service, diagnostic imaging. So like, I can't scroll any further because there's so much in here, but download that repo and use it. So it's a valuable resource. And I've jumped around a bit here. Let's get back to where I was. And we also have the development terminology server as well, tx.dev. And that includes all the profiles and terminologies for core, patient summary, e-requesting, sports validate code, expand, all these sorts of things. So that terminology server is available for use at the event as well. So definitely make use of that as well. Test results. So one of the things we're going to do at this event, I might as well showcase it a little bit now, is we're going to look at showcasing different connections. So there's opportunities here for you to be sort of recognized about what you were doing and who you were connected to and how you're doing it. So there is, what we're going to do is we are going to collect, if I can find it here. We're going to look to collect data on who's connecting to who in what scenario. So what we normally do, we do report backs to this to the work groups. We do it to the Department of Health and Aging, and they like to sort of say what sorts of things the community has been doing at these events. And opportunity for that is for us to capture who's connecting to who and what they're doing. So we're going to have this. We're going to get everyone who's at the event who's making connections to each other to complete this. So this will be a Google Sheet that you'll be able to connect to. And so if you connected to, we've got client systems here that connect into server systems. If you connected them in scenario 1 and did steps 1 and there, you might have done step 2 with them, you might have done step 3 with them. We'll be able to complete this and go through whichever scenarios you participated in, who you connected to. We're also going to have an option at the end here for any other connections. So anything that didn't quite fall in with our scenarios, if we're making other connections doing different things, we're able to do it here. Then we normally end up with a nice diagram or a very messy diagram because we make lots of connections between each other. So that we can then showcase what we kind of achieved out of the event. So we've kind of got one here which might be able to show that we've got the connections made between the different systems and what they did, what scenarios they participated in. And it really shows that interconnectivity that we've been able to get through these events. So that's something we'll be doing throughout the event, getting you, when you're completing scenarios and steps, is to put this on here so we get to showcase what you've been able to do at the event and us as a community being able to do together. That's something we'll be going through there as well. We normally do a nice pretty one that we sort of show around the different work groups and the like as well, but we'll be able to see at the event what we achieved on the day. Post prepping for the event as well. So have a look at the information page. This QR code is the information page. I had it in the chat as well. Make sure you complete the participant system details. So that's the connection details. So anyone else who wants to connect to your system, they're going to look to that page on how they would connect to your system. So make sure you've completed that. And then if you haven't already, sign up to the connected test scenarios. So again, that's when you get you on the day to talk to each other, connect your systems together. So we're going to use those pages on how do I connect, what am I connecting, which scenarios am I looking at. Get familiar with the fire IGs and prep your system for testing. So I think that's the key, is being prepared for the event. If you just turn up on the day, you might spend most of your day just trying to prep your system and not be able to do much testing at all. So the more prep you can do beforehand, the better, so that we can get as much achieved on the day as well. The day will fly by. Making sure you're prepped and ready to go. Now we've still got 15 minutes left in this call, so if we've got anything anyone wants to go through here, anyone wants to raise, go through, we can use this time. We've got the Spark team here. We've got other participants here who might be able to connect with. So I'm very open now to any other questions people might have about the event or how they prep or what they want to do, because you can get as much out of this as you like. Silence. Everyone's good. Everyone's raring to go. I will state too, we have a chat. So again, if you haven't signed up to chat.fi.org, which is here. So chat.fi.org, we have our own topic in here, which is about the Spark testing event. So we're going to use that on the day to post information. You can post any questions or information you have prior to the event there as well. So if your system's up and ready and people could start testing it out before the event, please post on here and say, hey, my system's available now if you want to start testing it prior to the event. So use that to communicate both with the Spark team, but also use it to communicate between yourselves so that you can say, I've got my server here, does someone want to connect to it and see if it's working properly, and those sorts of things. This is a community topic, so definitely use it between yourselves in the event to communicate. And if you've got questions for the Spark team, you can raise them there. If you've got questions about the event, you can raise them there as well. Use that. It's one of the better ways we have. If you don't have an account, just sign up for one of those. They're free as well. You just need to sign up. There is a testing FAQ as well. This is a generic FAQ we've got for our sort of testing events. So there's a few sort of questions in here about what happens on the day, what happens to any test data you might provide, about if you find issues, how to raise issues and the like. So a bit of a Q&A there to have a look at. And we've got the info page. And if all else fails, you can email us at spark.csiro to ask a question as well. If you're not comfortable doing it in an open forum, you can do that as well. I'm happy to take any questions. Anyone from Spark got anything they're interested in adding?
Where's the post event?
I'm not from Brisbane, I don't know.
So we're at Ridges. Ridges actually has a reasonable bar right there. It's not bad, but it's like a whole street of awesomeness. So I think we're a bit sport for choice. We might have to work it out and announce it at the in the afternoon.
Sounds great, Danielle.
And Fortitude's just down the road.
Street party. Nice. Okay.
Any concert on that night?
State of Origin's on that night.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So there will be a street party down there. All right, depending on
crazy night.
Yeah. It's a tiebreaker too. They got one each. So.
That does knock out a couple of nearby options that are like beer houses and pubs, unless we feel like the after event is State of Origin. I think they'll all be like State of Origin based. But no, there's a bunch of stuff really close by, including the actual conference hotel in and of itself that has space that I think could be quite nice. So, yeah, afterwards sounds lovely for a catch-up post-event to discuss in great detail all the incredible technical feedback we all have for each other.
Okay. Well, if there's no other questions for this meeting, if you've saved them all, please reach out afterwards. We're here. Keep an eye on the chat as things are available. Getting closer to the event, they'll be posted in there. So otherwise, looking forward to seeing everyone next Wednesday. Kick off by 9 o'clock.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, thanks.